You've had a headache before. We all have. And every time you probably thought the same thing. Drink some water, take a pill, sleep it off. But what if I told you that one of the most common things humans experience is also how some of the deadliest conditions in medicine announce themselves? Today, we're going inside the skull. And by the end of this video, you'll never dismiss a headache the same way again. Let's start with the one that doctors fear most. Imagine you're having a completely normal day. You're talking, laughing, maybe making dinner. And then, out of nowhere, it hits you like a gunshot to the back of the head. The most intense pain you have ever felt in your life. Instant. Overwhelming. Like something snapped. That's called a thunderclap headache. And it's the signature of a ruptured brain aneurysm. What's happening inside is terrifying. A weak spot in a blood vessel wall, sometimes sitting silently for years, finally gives way. Blood floods into the space surrounding the brain. Pressure skyrockets. Nausea. Collapse. In some cases, unconsciousness within minutes. The key word here is sudden. Not building over hours, not gradually worse. Just 0 to catastrophic in seconds. If you or anyone around you ever describes a headache as the worst they've ever felt and it came on instantly, that is a 911 call. Right now. No waiting. Now the aneurysm strikes like a lightning bolt. No warning, no build-up. But the next condition plays a completely different game. It disguises itself. It lets you think you're just getting sick. This one doesn't arrive like a thunderclap. It creeps in. It starts like a bad flu. Headache, fever, maybe some nausea. You'd probably assume it's a virus and go to bed. But then, the neck stiffens. The light becomes unbearable. Even a gentle knock on a door feels like a spike through the skull. That's bacterial meningitis, and it's attacking the membranes wrapped around your brain and spinal cord. Within hours, inflammation spreads. Confusion sets in. Some people develop a distinctive rash that doesn't fade when you press on it, and the window to treat it, with strong IV antibiotics, is horrifyingly narrow. Here's what separates meningitis from the aneurysm. The combo. It's not just a headache. It's headache plus fever, plus neck stiffness, plus light sensitivity, all showing up together, getting worse fast. So meningitis moves in hours. Urgent, yes. But at least it gives you a window, however narrow. The next one? It gives you weeks. And that's exactly what makes it so dangerous. Now, we slow down. Because this one doesn't rush. A brain tumor's headache is quieter, sneakier. It usually shows up in the morning, before you've even gotten out of bed. And unlike a tension headache that might ease up with coffee or a stretch, this one comes back, consistently, and gradually over weeks or months, it gets worse. Here's why. The skull is a sealed box. It has absolutely no room to expand. So as a tumor grows, even slowly, pressure builds inside that box. The pain isn't always from the tumor directly. It's from the compression. Your brain getting squeezed. This one is dangerous precisely because it's easy to rationalize. Morning headaches are common. Stress gives people headaches. But the pattern, persistent, progressive, worse when you lie down or strain, that's what doctors look for. A tumor builds pressure by growing into space that doesn't exist. But the next condition creates that same dangerous pressure in a completely different way. Not by adding something, but by blocking something from leaving. This one most people have never heard of, and that's part of the problem. Cerebral venous sinus thrombosis, or CVST, is a blood clot, but not the kind you might be thinking of. It's not blocking blood into the brain. It's blocking blood out of the brain. The veins responsible for draining blood away get clogged. And when blood can't drain, pressure builds. The brain swells. A persistent, dull building headache develops. One that doesn't respond to ibuprofen, doesn't respond to rest, just sits there and quietly intensifies. This one can happen to otherwise healthy young people. It's been linked to dehydration, certain birth control pills, pregnancy and infections. Because it builds so slowly and the person looks relatively fine from the outside, it gets missed, sometimes for days. The warning sign? A headache that simply won't go away and won't respond to anything you try. CVST is a threat from within the bloodstream, a plumbing problem in a sense. But the next condition is something else entirely. It's the immune system itself going rogue, and it comes with a very specific victim in mind. This one has a very specific audience. People over 50. Giant cell arteritis is when your own immune system attacks the blood vessels in your head, particularly around your temples. The headache is new, severe, and often comes with tenderness right at the temple when you touch it. But here's what makes this one uniquely dangerous. If it's not treated quickly, the inflammation can cut off blood supply to the optic nerve. People go blind, sometimes permanently, in one eye or both. There can also be jaw pain when chewing, because the same inflamed vessels supply those muscles. It's a strange, specific combination of symptoms that, once you know them, point clearly to one thing. This is entirely treatable with steroids. But the window matters enormously. Giant cell arteritis threatens your vision by slowly strangling the vessels that feed it. But the final condition we're covering today doesn't move slowly at all. It hits fast, and it's one of the most misunderstood medical emergencies on the planet. Most people picture stroke as one thing: sudden paralysis, face drooping, arm weakness, slurred speech. And yes, that's often true. But a hemorrhagic stroke, where a blood vessel bleeds inside brain tissue rather than around it, can announce itself differently. Sometimes the first sign isn't weakness. It's a sudden, severe headache. Before the neurological symptoms hit, before the paralysis develops, there's pain. The bleed is already happening. The clock is already running. Time is brain is something neurologists actually say, because every minute without treatment, nearly 2 million brain cells die. This one overlaps with the aneurysm in terms of sudden onset. The difference is where the blood goes. An aneurysm bleeds around the brain. A hemorrhagic stroke bleeds into brain tissue. Same urgency, different location, both devastating. So here's the thing. We just walked through 6 completely different diseases, and every single one of them had headache as an early warning sign. But the key, the thing that could save your life or someone else's, isn't knowing that headaches can be dangerous. It's knowing which headaches deserve alarm. Here's your mental checklist. Sudden and explosive? Think aneurysm. Call 911. Headache plus fever plus stiff neck? Think meningitis. Go to the ER. Persistent morning headaches, gradually worsening over weeks. Think tumor. See a doctor. Headache that won't quit and won't respond to anything. Think CVST. Get evaluated. New severe headache. Over 50. Tender temples. Think giant cell arteritis. Urgent. Sudden headache followed by weakness or speech issues. Think stroke. Call 911. The brain itself cannot feel pain. The tissue surrounding it can. And when it does, it's trying to tell you something. Most headaches are nothing. Dehydration, tension, a rough night's sleep. But occasionally, rarely, a headache is carrying an emergency message. And the difference between catching it and missing it can be the difference between everything. You now know what to look for. Share this with someone you care about. Because the most dangerous thing about these conditions isn't how fast they move. It's how easy they are to dismiss.